Hold on, folks. I'm going to read your comments. If anyone's still in there. Oh, I got 13 people. Cool. Pretty damn big. Let me back up. Maybe I'm going to back up because y'all have left quite a few comments, and I wasn't able to see them while I was going through those pictures. I watched 5 minutes before shutting it off. Okay, that's where I left off. Video looks good on mine. Oh, good. Cool. I still don't see it. It's still not showing up here. He was calming a Bigfoot. Oh, claiming a Bigfoot was standing 15 feet in front of him, but it had no idea he could see it. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Let me page down here. Hold on. I get this MS. It makes it hard for me to control this touchpad, so bear with me, people. Maybe Bigfoot mothers sometimes drop babies on their heads. Yeah. You're talking about the lopsided sagittal crest. Yeah. Looks like a werewolf from the curse. You know what? Yeah, it does. It looks like a bad knockoff of like the old werewolf movies. And also a tactic of horror movies with a low budget to hide the monster behind. Yep, exactly. Yep. Oh, wow. Pretty damn big. I don't know what you're talking about there, Will, but I assume you're talking about his hairdo. He's got quite the fro. Ashton says it seems too clean. Too clean. I guess you're talking about the one that's got no features. Or maybe his hair, because, yeah, his hair does seem clean. It might be of... I can't read all of that. I hope I'm not boring the piss out of you guys by reading these while we're on here. It might be of... done it once. I mean, like it could have stuck its foot in on purpose for some reason, but not 2 days in a row. Yeah, see, I'm with you there. That's what I was saying. I could see it, okay, maybe doing that once, but it was 2 different days. Yeah, it was just ridiculous. It just looked staged. That smacked of being staged when it was 2 different days. Yeah, too convenient. Yeah, the footprint. Yeah. Oh, the footprint was too clean? Yeah, exactly. It was like a perfect cutout, except I couldn't figure out if he was going to stage that footprint. Why did he do it where it went up underneath up underneath the vegetation? It didn't make sense to me. I have never seen a Bigfoot print, in all of the different prints and photos and videos I've ever seen. I've never seen one like that. Why would that one look like that? Unless he wanted to, when he was making it, in order to make it really stand out, that's just what happened. It just ended up like that. Yeah, it's craziness. All right, folks, I deleted the other version of this show. Hopefully the video and everything came out all right on this. Let me see. I'm getting yellow again. I don't know what the heck that's all about. Hopefully, right now it's on slideshow. Let me put it back on video and see if it's looking all right when I rewatch it. Make sure everything's looking okay so that my next show will be all right. All right. So anyway, in the other show, I don't know if any of you seen that or not. I know some people did, obviously. I've actually heard back from, her name just went right out of Brenda Harris. I heard back from Brenda Harris. Me and her are going to set up a date. Hopefully next Sunday she'll be on the show. If not, it'll be the Sunday after that. She just wants me to tell her when so that she can schedule and all that. So assuming her schedule permits, actually be next Saturday, because I'm changing the show to Saturday at 9 o'clock Central, which will be 10 o'clock Eastern, because I'm in Central Time now. So I'm changing it to Saturday night, 9 o'clock Central, which is 10 o'clock Eastern, just to reiterate. So Brenda Harris will be on either next Saturday or the following Saturday. Just depends on what her schedule permits. If not, I guess I'll end up droning on about something else, probably something I've seen recently. There's quite a few things I've wanted to cover. I just think that y'all prefer to hear, stories and have me doing interviews rather than just sitting here flapping my gums for an hour. None of the vegetation was disturbed. Exactly. There was no drag out. If it stepped out, the toes would have drug across that. Because if it's up under, look, here, say here's the toes. The vegetation was curled up and over the toes like that. When he stepped up and out, it would have drugged that vegetation and destroyed that nice clean edge. There's no way, And then 2 different times, I'm sorry, I don't believe it. Anyway, Brenda Harris will be on. Does anybody have any questions? I know there's like a 30-second delay, so I'll give you some time. If you have any questions or comments, has anybody here got an encounter that you want to come on the show and talk about, or anything like that, or do you want to point me at something that I can view and then maybe talk about on a future show or whatever? I turn off this slideshow. I think it's going to eat up my CPU. I'll give you all, I know there's a 30-second delay, so I'll hold off to see if you got anything for me while I'm fixing my other window here. Yeah, I don't know. I've watched other live shows, and somehow they end up leaving this the live chat somehow continues to go, but for some reason mine doesn't. I ain't figured out how to do that yet, to where, like, even when I'm not doing a show, you can actually pop in there and still chat and stuff like that. I've seen other guys where it's like that, and supposedly that it's supposed to stay there all the time, but mine doesn't seem to do that. It seems to come and go. Like when I end this show, the live chat shortly thereafter stops working. I don't understand. If one of you guys knows how that is done, let me know. I'm gonna have to find out. Any questions? The video. Oh, the government conspiracies and all of that. Yeah, I've been thinking about doing up another one of those. I've seen a lot of other people, and actually, it almost seems like some of the other podcasts may have seen my show. It's almost like they're trying to tell the opposite side of that. So I thought maybe I should, like go in their shows and kind of break down some of the stuff they're saying and cover that again in a little more detail and that kind of thing. I'm giving that some thought. Yeah, that was kind of the reason. This is, I don't know how to say your name, Jamar, I think. He says, I enjoy your no nonsense approach. That specifically is why I started this podcast. I was tired of the crap out there. Back in the early days of Sasquatch Chronicles, in like the first 10 shows or so, I liked the way that Wes and his brother kind of were on along those lines. And then for some reason, he morphed and changed as he went along. By the time he interviewed me, which was episode 56, I had actually lost interest in his show. And then he contacted me, so I went ahead and did the interview. But I don't like the direction they were going in. And then it was pretty obvious to me. And, I hate to talk bad about other guys. I think he has a good show. I like listening to the stories of the interviews that he has on there and stuff. And I think he is trying to reel it in a little bit now. But back when he first started going commercial, I guess, so to speak, he kind of backed off on shooting straight and that kind of thing. So I wanted to do a show where I'd talk what I think is real stuff instead of, some of the crap that's out there. So, and I'm from Boston, and I don't have much of a filter, I guess. So I try to keep it PG or G or whatever for monetization. But since there is no 100% clear, concise, HD provable footage of real Sasquatch, how is anyone actually to know whether all Sasquatch look the same? Yeah, I understand what your point is, and I've actually debated that myself, but I've seen one from 5 feet away. And like I said actually earlier here, when I was talking about the three side by side, if they were that big of a difference between Sasquatch, they would be different species. It wouldn't, you can't have one that doesn't have a sagittal crest and then another one that does and say that they're the same species. If one doesn't have it and one does, they're two completely different species. So therefore they would look different. I mean, they might have similar facial features, I guess, like gorillas. I mean, Bigfoot to me looks a lot like a chimpanzee or a gorilla, except like the mouth has been pushed back. And it seems to me like if you took a gorilla's nose, the way they are now, and then you took like their mouth and just pushed it back and left the nose in place, it would become a hooded nose. That to me is what the evolution or whatever, or maybe even a what do you call it? This MS messes with my ability to recall words sometimes. Mutation. If they had a mutation where their mouth wasn't out here anymore, got pushed back, I mean, that way would cause that. I mean, maybe that's how we ended up looking the way we do. Who knows? But that's why I say I think they all do look similar. If they're the same species, for all we know, maybe there's more than one species out there because they're like I've said, and like other people have said, there used to be multiple human-like species on the planet, and we assume they all died out. How do we know that they didn't go in hiding and they're still out there somewhere, and they just didn't progress intellectually the way that we did, and they're still living primitive caveman-like lives. So there could be multiples. I kind of doubt it. Don't be all, I'm getting crazy or something, because I really don't think that's the case. I think we got one species out there. It's a Bigfoot, and the only differences you're going to see in them is like the difference between Andre the Giant and Justin Bieber. Completely different looks in the face, but they're both human. There are 4 types of Bigfoot or categories, if you want. Supposedly, I actually was going to do a show about that. Classify the different looks. Yeah, I don't know if like I just said, I don't know if I agree with the 4 different types. I think that it's possible that people are interpreting things that, like I said, hairdos, you see a guy, if you didn't know what humans look like with a mohawk, you might say, oh my God, he had this big bony thing on top of his head, when it's just his hair standing up. I think things like that could cause people to interpret their physicality differently. Are you asking me or Sean what his favorite Bigfoot story is? Since the author of this video doesn't offer their own actual proof. Yeah, I can tell you exactly what Bigfoot looks like. I saw it from 5 feet away. Here, let me pull it up for you. I think I have it here. Hold on there. What's your name? Sean. Here you go. I actually did this CG version of the Bigfoot I saw looking in the window. There you go, buddy. There's my representation of a Bigfoot. Now, do I have video? No. But that is my CG rendering of the Bigfoot I saw. Yeah, I can't stand. I think Bigfoot will kill you. It eats people. It goes after little kids, and for some reason, it seems to like to eat little girls. And the teenage girls, the ones who are, coming of age, it wants to have sex with them. So, Bigfoot are predators in multiple ways. Oh, you're asking me what my favorite story? Uh, I don't really have a favorite. I mean, one that sticks out in my head is the one I did a show about, and that's, the guy who got kidnapped by Bigfoot. But it sticks out in my head for multiple reasons. One is I find it hard to believe it really happened. But on the other hand, the guy had so many details, it's hard not to believe it happened. So I give him the benefit of the doubt. And then I think it must have been a really harrowing experience. And the way he talks about it, he kind of kept his head pretty good. That's kind of one of my favorites there. I've heard a lot of Bigfoot stories, so they all kind of have their own thing. I believe that it needs a mutual show of respect. Harmful as we can, yes, I'd agree with that. Can be peaceful, yeah, I would agree with that. I've talked about that in I think it was my Fear of the Squatch, or it might have been the one after that, where I talked about how I think that Bigfoots, it just depends on their life experiences, just like humans. But I think the number of Bigfoots that will eat people and kill people is a lot higher than most people believe. And I think the reason is because the people who fall victim to them aren't around to tell us, because they got it. They're done. They're gone. And because Bigfoot run across them out in the middle of the woods when they're hiking and camping by themselves. I mean, look at Missing 411. I think that Pallades, he really gets off on tangents, but there's a lot of core missing person reports that I think you can attribute to Bigfoot's, snatching these people up. I think they can be peaceful, and I like. I've heard some stories where they've helped kids get back to their family because they were lost in the woods. And I absolutely believe that those kinds of stories are true, and that Bigfoot can be nice, but I think it has to do with their life experiences and whether they have their own kids, whether they have the ability to empathize and feel sorry for the kid rather than look at them as a tasty morsel. Ashton. Oh, you a girl, Ashton? Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Either way, he wants to eat you if you're a girl. Yeah. Because I am a firm believer they do exist. As a species, us humans have a lot to learn about the space and the universe we occupy. Yeah, yeah. The closer they live to people, the more tolerant. Yeah, I'd agree. Well, it can go both ways. It's like I've said in my past episode, I think some of the younger ones, the rogues, they set themselves up in an environment where people are nearby because they want to pick them off and eat them. But I don't think that by and large the ones that are around people are like that. I think there are young rogues that do that, but I don't think there's a lot of them. I think you're more likely. I don't have my glasses on. I can't see your picture. It's so tiny. I had no idea you were a girl. What was I just saying? Yeah, I think by and large, the ones that are really eating people are the ones that live in the woods. And to them, pretty much everything they run across out there is a source of food. The ones that are living around people, yeah, I think that they become very curious about people. They start watching us. I think that they're at the point where we were many, many years ago, where they're starting to become more world aware. You know what I'm saying? They're on the verge of becoming sentient like us and starting to use tools, and they're like us back in caveman days. To me, that's what I think is the situation with Bigfoots. So I think that some of them are in a position where they enjoy watching us do things and they're amazed and that kind of stuff. And then the ones that are living out in the wild, they're just living in the wild. So, yeah, dumpsters, yeah. So, Ashton, are you a young girl? Because you said that they want you. They generally like teenage girls. Some type of animal looking in through, yeah. Oh, his window is a guy. That's unusual. Usually it's girls' windows. Really big, lasted seconds. Well, it looked in the window and saw it was a guy, and he said, "Eh." He's looking for a girl. A Bigfoot husband? Well, that wouldn't be hard to do. I'll tell you where to go. They also know we're a food source. Yeah. It's like us with rabbits and stuff. You can raise a rabbit, even a dog. If you found yourself stranded somewhere and you were starving and your favorite dog, your dog was with you. When it came down to it, the dog would become food. And we're like that. People look at the Donner Pass story where they started eating each other because they were stuck and they couldn't get out. Oh, well, you're at the right age. You could get yourself a Bigfoot husband, Ashton. You're 17 now, 18 with an asterisk. I don't know what that means, but I guess you messed up. Maybe you just turned 18. He was a kid at the time. He was alone, and there was something at the window. Yeah, yeah. Bigfoots do that. They look in. It's always kids' windows. Very few. I've heard very few stories of grown people seeing Bigfoots look in their windows. It's always kids. And the only ones I've heard of grown people who have saw Bigfoots looking in the window were after they just got done having sex. Wes and his brother. Yeah, yeah. And a lot of people have attacked them about their story. And their story, I think, was here, I don't like to talk bad about but there's one thing about that story that has always bothered me. And that is when, I don't know if you've heard the whole story, but they were parked. They were talking about, I think it was their grandfather had just died. It was either their father or their grandfather because they both died real close together, I guess. And they went up there to talk. First of all, why would you drive up to the side of a mountain to talk about someone dying? But, maybe they did. Who knows. But then the Bigfoots come up after them. They got scared. They were terrified. Then they got the car started. They got pulled out of there. And then he went 20 feet up the road and stopped and turned off the ignition again. And that's when the other stuff happened. That stuff, I don't know about that. Why would you do that? If you're terrified, why would you think that going 20 feet up the road, you're safe now? That I don't get. But sometimes people do crazy stuff when they're having that whole adrenaline and fear. Yeah, Bigfoots are pervs. Yeah. I can't even pronounce that Arizona thing. The middle of nowhere. Bigfoot's a pervs, yeah. Their encounter story changed ever so slightly from time to time. It felt embellished as if it were based on a real encounter. I've not heard it change. Well, I've only heard the very first one because I'm telling you, I listened to them way back in the beginning, and I've not listened to any other versions of it other than the first one. Um, I know I heard him. I started to hear him talking about it on another podcast, but then I turned it off because I already heard all this, so I didn't listen to it. Real sightings in Arizona. Uh, I'm sure I have. I mean, I've heard about sightings for a long time now. I've heard hundreds. I'm sure there were. Now, Brenda Harris, she's coming on, and she's in New Mexico, and I think she investigates in Arizona too, because I think she's. I could be wrong, but I think she's close to. It seems to me I heard about her doing investigations in Arizona. Yeah, you want to talk for about Bigfoot? Send me an email. Tell me what you want to talk about. We'll structure it, and you can come on the show, and we'll just chat back and forth and let people chime in and that. Infrasound. Yeah, I mean it's possible because it is a real thing. It just I don't know if y'all have watched my other shows, but I took a very simplistic zoology course at Harvard when I was in the 6th grade. It was this thing where they took us out to Harvard every week. We went, I forget, I think it was 2 days a week. And we did this for a few months or a month or something like that. It was a long time ago. I don't remember exactly how long it was. But we had to go through they have their own natural history, or is it natural history museum? But they have like cavemen and all that. And they told us about stuff. And infrasound was one of the things they brought up. And I remember back then they said, I think it was just elephants could do it, that they could actually kill a tiger with infrasound, and that they used infrasound to communicate danger in long distances like 15, 20 miles to tell each other herds and stuff. I guess back then it wasn't really what do you call it, they hadn't done a whole lot of research on it, but they knew it was there and it existed. But since then, I guess they've discovered that tigers do it. A lot of predators have it. So I could see that Bigfoot could do it. I mean, their voice is deep enough. It's just about low pitch. So I suppose they could. But as far as it being used, some of the ways I've heard infrasound is being used, like there was one guy who was a mountain biker and he took his clothes off and was going to walk into the woods and all that. I don't think Bigfoot gets over there and he says, "Hey, watch this," and he starts doing infrasound, and it's like him and his buddies are chuckling. Look at the human getting naked. I don't think they're doing that. Or look at him get naked, then we're going to eat him. I don't think it's anything like that. They might do it instinctively, and it has some kind of a confusing effect. I believe that's probably possible. But you would hear about it happening all the time, and you only hear about it every now and then. Somebody will say something about infrasound. So I don't know if it could. I mean, when you're scared, you can have all kinds of weird feelings and stuff that you could think, oh, it's infrasound. They're freaking me out. Who knows? You don't want to sleep on the first floor anymore. Well, if you're on the second floor, they just have to get up on their tippy toes, Ashton, and still look in the window at you. Four Corners area, I believe. Oh, privately, I guess, if you want to. I have to fix it. My phone number, I think, has changed for this because it's a Google number that forwards to my cell phone. And I think since I've moved here, things got all messed up. I'm going to have to recheck. When I fix that phone number, I'll give it to you and you can call me and we'll talk. Yeah, tigers. Yeah, supposedly, yeah. Yeah, supposedly. I don't know for myself personally, but that's what I hear that tigers can do infrasound. You believe you were hit with infrasound once, felt like being seasick. Now, see that I've heard, and that I could believe. Something that's just kind of messes with your senses, your equilibrium. But there are some people out there saying that, oh, they can make you take your clothes off. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff. That I don't believe. I think that's just a reaction to the adrenaline and fear and that kind of thing, which may be have infrasound at its base, but I think that's just a confusing thing. And I don't know that Bigfoots would do it. Not everyone experiences it, but I think different people react to infrasound differently anyway. Just depends on which frequency you're sensitive to. Yeah, Sean. All right. I didn't know if you were going to be one of these guys that starts to attack me because you don't think I know what a Bigfoot looks like. That's why I put that up there. But yeah, I agree with you. Nobody can know. You can't. You have no idea. I mean, I know because I've seen it, and I can just tell you. I promise they're out there. I've seen them. But ultimately, until you've seen it yourself, you can't believe it. I'm the same way with UFOs, for instance. I believe that there's life on other planets. I believe that, it's possible that maybe we've been visited by UFOs. But as far as saying, yeah, I believe in UFOs, that'll never happen until I see one myself. So, and if I saw one, it would not surprise me. I'd say, oh, okay, yeah, they are coming here. But as far as saying I believe in UFOs, it'll never happen until I see one. So that's just the way it is. Some people are they're willing to just pick somebody who they have a good feeling about and believe everything they say. I'm not one of those people. I have to see it for myself. If I hadn't seen a Bigfoot for myself, I would probably be one of those people to say, I believe it's possible, but I can't say that they exist or not. That's where I would be. I'm blinking because my contacts are getting dry. All I know is if I ever were to see a Bigfoot, I would die on the spot. It's pretty terrifying. Yeah, you'd be an easy meal. Bigfoot is 100% real. Jamar, are you saying that? Have you seen one, man? Or woman? I don't know if you're a guy or girl. Sorry. All right, have you seen one? I think you said you had an experience earlier. And if so, how close were you? Oh, we've been going for an hour. We'll keep going. This is interesting. But Ashton, let me hear. You've had something look in the window at you or what, girl? What? Wait a minute. I missed this. If you're in the woods and randomly get the urge to get naked, it's Bigfoot. Yeah. I actually thought I should find some chick, that would not mind getting naked in the woods to see how Bigfoot would react. Go out to like a Bigfoot area and get her to get naked and walk around with me and see if the Bigfoot is just like, whoa, I've never seen this before, and see if they come in or not. Of course, you're liable to get more than you want out of that deal, but skeptical believer, Mulder and Scully rolled into one. Well, yeah, that's what I was just saying. If I'd have never seen one myself, I'd be like that. Very scary to know that these huge, gigantic, strong creatures are out there, that they can easily kill you. Have you seen my Fear the Squatch episode? I'm planning to go. Oh, my nicotine patch is itching. I'm planning to go out looking for them, but I'm telling you, they scare the hell out of me. I am just hoping that I won't run into the bad ones when I'm out there. I'm going to go out there, but it's pretty terrifying to run into the wrong guy. Well, Jamar, you said you've been encountering them, plural, it sounds like. Not a real good sighting. They've been staying hidden, even at night. Are you saying that they're around your house? Or do you like go hiking a lot and you run into them out in some specific area? Oh, you'll do it, Ashton, huh? All right, where you live? I'll pick you up and we'll go out and we'll do it. Yeah, I think I could find a Bigfoot. I think it's just common sense. Yeah, well, so what do? Your blinds are open or whatever at night and you're walking around and whatever. And you just don't turn around and look at the window and say, because you don't want to know if he's looking at you. Is that what you're talking about? Do you live in the woods, Ashton? Like in a spot where that might be something that's happening to you, or are you just shining us on? And we've got, I think we lost a bunch of people. No, we still got 13 people watching. Anyway, anyone else have any more questions? Wait a minute. Oddly enough, I've considered. I don't know. You've considered the naked approach in the woods. So, Jamar, are you saying that you've seen them like, walking, like 50 yards away through the trees, but you've actually seen them? Or you've just found prints and you've heard them cracking and carrying on and they're around you, but you've not actually even seen them, walking behind trees and stuff? No, cabin in the woods. Well, I mean, where at? What state, Ashton? Yes, what? You've seen them, or you just seen them, or you just know you hear them walking and stuff? Have you seen one at a distance in the trees, or? Will, did I miss something? I don't know if you can hear that. My dog's having a dream over here. What in the world's that all about? Oh, I gotcha. So you just always see them lurking back in the trees. West Virginia, okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you talk about west like in the Appalachians, West Virginia, or over on the east? Yeah, I'm down here in Alabama. There's been a sighting, a reported sighting about 8 miles from my house. So I'm planning to go out there and start checking these sites out. And then just yesterday, anytime I'm driving along, like me and my dad, he's been taking me around since my leg got messed up with this MS stuff. But until I'm a little better and I can drive myself. But every time we're driving, I watch the trees and see if I can see any signs of like being pushed over and breaks in the right spots and that. And we actually ran across a spot yesterday that I'm going to go back and check. I'm going to do a video about all of it. It has a lot of pushed down trees that are literally broken like a foot or two above the base of the tree. So I'm going to go and check that situation out. West Virginia, yeah. Ashton, you're up there. You're right there where you should be in the thick of it. There should be a lot of Sasquatch around where you are. I mean, we're not talking hundreds, but it should be. Wouldn't be a surprise to find out they're looking in the window at you. Maria, no, I don't think they're just animals. Like I said, I think they're where we were in caveman days. I think they're right on the cusp. Which the cusp? I mean, in evolutionary terms, we could be talking 500 years before they actually, you know, become sentient to where they can like make fires and stuff and use spears or whatever. Who knows how long it took us to make that switch. But I think that they're above animals and below us. They're somewhere in there. Well, Western Pennsylvania, yeah, over in the Appalachians. Well, email me, Ashton. You have my email? Here, I'll put it up for you. Well, it's Sasquatch Hypotheses at Gmail. Let me find it here. There you go, Ashton. Email me and we'll talk offline. Oh, Jamar, you're in Pennsylvania too. Are you over on the west side in the mountains or? Ashton, will you walk around in your bedroom naked? If he's seeing your boobs and your butt. Well, I guess you would, wouldn't you? You'd probably change your clothes in there now and then, I'm sure. Rather than in the bathroom. That's what I mean. Hawk Mountain. I don't know where that is, but I'm assuming you're telling me yes, you're in the western PA. Yeah, if you're in the western over in the Appalachian Trail, that place is thick with Bigfoot, you know? Did I check that land between the lakes vid? I haven't seen a video. Send me the link to that. Email it to me because it'll get lost as soon as this video is closed. I won't be able to see it. Or you can either email it to me or when I close out this live show, put it in the show comments, not the live chat, and I'll look at that. I haven't heard another video of. As far as I know, I'm the only one who's really done any video about that, or not really. Bear did. Ashton is cute. Will's stalking you there, Ashton. He's checking you out. I guess he probably looked up your Facebook and everything already. I don't think they're under. Well, I don't. I'm not. I don't disbelieve that they're underground dwellers. I think that it's quite possible they live in caves. I think, especially on the East Coast, because my dad's side of the family, that damn patch is itching me. That my dad's side of the family are hillbillies, and I've seen a lot of. I don't know where Reading is. I guess is that if it's in the West, then you're in. Doesn't everybody? No, a lot of people they take a shower, they get dressed in the bathroom. They don't generally get naked in their bedroom. I get naked all the time. I just take off my clothes when I walk in the door. I figured it would be. Yeah. Oh, what I was saying is, they're hillbillies, and I've seen a lot of outbuildings and abandoned barns and old cabins, and I think Bigfoots take cover wherever they can, whether it be caves or abandoned homes, abandoned barns. Like I said, that Bigfoot that was following me through the woods, I think it was actually hole up in the barn out behind Granny's house. Pine Barrens. Yeah, I've heard that there's Bigfoot in that area of New Jersey too. Arlo. Will do what, Arlo? Did I miss something? What do you mean you just noticed her pic, Will? A minute ago you said she was hot. Or cute, rather. Oh, Will's a Bigfoot. That's funny. Yeah. Ashton's got your number, Will. Ashton, you going to email me? You said you want to talk offline? That picture was from Pennsylvania. Was a bear or Bigfoot? I don't know what picture you're talking about. Is that the one? I think that might have been Pennsylvania, where it's like picking up apples off the ground or something. Yeah, yeah, I think that was a Bigfoot because you could see the skin under the hair. And if somebody was wearing a suit, I mean, a ghillie suit maybe, but ghillie suits usually have a net. They have like, they actually make them kind of out of camouflage, netting. And if that was the case, yeah, you'd see the skin, but you'd also be able to see the netting. All right, Ashton. Oh, Will. I thought you were. Ashton, you're sending Will a picture of your butthole? What do you got him on Twitter or something? He thinks so. Doesn't look like a bear. No. No, that thing's not a bear. It's either a person in a ghillie suit, which I don't think so, or it's a Bigfoot. There's no way it's a bear. Ashton, you're working on what? You're going to email me? Is that what you're saying? Did you write down or save my email? Or you can go to my YouTube channel and click on about, and you can actually send me like a private PM, a private message. Not many people know you can do that on YouTube. Oh, so you're not sexting well, okay. Yeah, Ashton, seriously, if you want to, because you're in the right spot, I might want to see if you can get out there and check a few types of areas and stuff for me, if you have any around there. I mean, if you want to, if you're gonna, if you're not too scared of Bigfoot, you know, because you live in the type of area that I wanted to. My hillbilly relatives, they live in an area similar to like where you do, where there's a lot of the older buildings from way back in like the Indian times, like old cabins and that kind of thing. Down here, they don't have a lot of that. Oh, okay. I got you, Ashton. Yeah, you're you're being a tease, is what you're being. I think I'm. I shouldn't say that. You're teasing Bigfoot if you're bending over in front of the window. Yeah. All right, folks. Hey, Jamar, go ahead and email me, man. No, it's actually not loaded with Bigfoot. I mean, yeah, yes and no. I mean, not like southeastern Ohio or western Pennsylvania or West Virginia up in there. It's kind of we're down more in the foothills of the Appalachians. Really not even, but it's more like that kind of an area. So there's some down here, but it's uh not loaded with them or anything. It's more over in Louisiana, East Texas, yeah, but over here, not so much. Over in Georgia, yeah, but for some reason, if you look at the activity map, there's not. But the activity that is here is close to where I'm at. So, oh, I just got a notification that I'm iron about my last video. That's crazy. It took long enough. Yeah, there you go. Change in the bathroom. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're that cute, Ashton. You might want to because you keep walking around naked in your bedroom. Bigfoot might just go right through your window. You said you're on the first floor, right? Yeah. All right, I'm gonna have to close it out now. I'm getting pretty tired. Yeah, I appreciate y'all being here. It was very interesting. This first time I've actually stayed on and talked to everybody in the chat and everything. I guess there's not too bad of a delay. It seemed like maybe 10, 15 seconds, but I guess it could be longer. I don't know. Anyway, we've been on for an hour and almost 20 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and end the. Now you keep. Do I find it curious that almost every continent but North America has a species of primate? I've never actually thought about it, but I guess you're right. Well, Australia doesn't, unless you think of Bigfoot, their version of Bigfoot, because they don't have a primate either, except for that. And then I think in not Indonesia, what is it? New Zealand? I don't think New Zealand does either. Not really a continent, but it's other water-bound areas. Yeah, there are Bigfoot down here. I'm not saying there's not. I'm just saying we're not really loaded with them like Southeast Ohio but they're down here. There's a spot down here called what is it? I said it in the last video. Watch the last video. But it's about 30 or 40 miles south of me, and it's where the river from Land Between the Lakes and the river from the Smoky Mountains, they actually come down and they combine into a lake down here. And I figure that's got to be a great spot for Bigfoot because they follow those large waterways when they travel. It's kind of like their highway. So there's bound to be Bigfoot activity down there. Probably some that hasn't been reported in that. There have been reports down there, but not as many as I would have thought. So I'm going to start checking that area out pretty heavily. Oh, okay, Ashton. I'll check your email here in a minute. Boogers. I don't know. I don't even get boogers. I guess it's boogeyman. It somehow got morphed into boogers. Yeah, they actually have something down here they call the Alabama white fang, and it's actually an albino or a white Bigfoot. That's actually right around this area. I don't know where Tuscaloosa is. I think that's a ways away from here. I'm out by what's it? What's the name? Not Harvest. Well, it is Harvest is near here too, but it's the other one starts with an H, and I keep forgetting the name of it. Um, it's right next to Harvest, but that's where I am. I'm actually in Hazel Green, Alabama. I'm actually just 5 miles from Tennessee. Call them perverts looking at my butthole. Well, stop bending over in front of the window and they won't be looking at your butthole. You just saw The Legend of Boggy Creek? How old are you, Maria? I actually don't like that movie. Everyone in the Bigfoot community says, "Oh, it's like the best Bigfoot." I don't like it. I think it's very I guess cuz it's so well, I mean, the guy did it himself. It was kind of like a homegrown movie, so I would like to see it have been redone with a little bit more quality to it, but not altered. Still go back, tell the same stories, but do it with a bit better quality video and that kind of thing. Yeah, how old are you, Maria? Because if you just heard about it, I'm thinking you're what, mid-20s at the latest? Otherwise, you've been under a rock for a while. Because it's Boggy Creek. If you believe in Bigfoot, you should have heard about that a long time ago. If you're older than 25. What's comforting like meatloaf? yeah, yeah, Ashton, I figured. Yeah, you're playing with us. Josh? No, actually, I'm up by I'm 5 miles from the Tennessee border. I'm in Hazel Green, which is up by Harvest and why can I not remember? Let me look it up real quick so I can tell you. It starts with an H. I'll probably think of it right as I search it. Hold on, I can't see the comments. I'm googling where my location here. Oh, where's my? There we go. If I can find the big town around here that I'm just keep trying. Huntsville. Yeah, I'm near Huntsville. That's the big town that I'm near. I'm actually about 20 miles north of Huntsville. Well, where are you, Josh? I'm 20 miles north of Huntsville. I actually used to go through Fort. My second wife was from Jonesboro, Arkansas, and I was stationed at Fort Hood, Texas. Used to have to go right up through Texarkana, right through Fouke. I used to mess with her and, not say Fouke. She'd get mad at me. Oh, all right, Ashton. I'm just messing with you, girl. Creature from the Black Swamp. Well, the Black Swamp. When I lived in Ohio, that was the Black Swamp. Is that what you're talking about? Because they didn't have any Bigfoot. There was like two sightings within uh, 70 miles of where I lived up there. I was up in Northwest, up by Fort Wayne. Yeah, they have that. I guess one of the space centers is down there. Oh, Black Lake. I don't know where Black Lake is. I think if you want to humanely capture a Bigfoot, you would have to use a Connex. Wow, you're way the heck out there, Josh. Ashton. Oh, you're bad, girl. Where's the Black Lake? Is that in Pennsylvania or? Yeah, Ashton. If you really live out there, yeah, I think you'd get your bed away from the window. I mean, you might not be taking me seriously, but if you're not don't have a Bigfoot looking in your bedroom window so far, it doesn't mean it won't start to happen. And the first time he looks in your window, you're going to have a buddy for a long time. And if your bed is right under the window, well, you might become a statistic. Sorry, but I really believe that. Uh oh, people! It's saying my video output has just gone to crap. Can you still see me? My encoder says it's all green, so I don't understand why it's saying that. I'll put that up and see if that fixes it. Jamar, are you saying yes, you can still see me? Oh, okay. Well, according to the page here, my video output is red. So I don't know what's going on there. All kinds of problems tonight. If you can still see me and I'm still moving normally, then I guess it's a Google thing. I don't know. Well, good, Ashton. Seriously. Really. I really think you should get your bed away from the window. I mean, you might not have had one. You probably haven't had one so far. But if you live in that area, it's possible it could happen. So I wouldn't want my bed near the window. Yeah, I think if you had a very solid, I don't know if you know what a Connex is. It's like those trailers that like the storage containers they put on ships. Something like that. I think a Bigfoot would probably beat the hell out of it, but I think it would keep them, especially if they reinforced it. It would just be tough getting them to go in it. That's all. But if you can get them to go in it, you got them, and that's a humane way to capture them. Are you trying to move your bed right now, Ashton? What time is it? Where's my clock? Oh, it's almost 1 o'clock. Oh, it's a little late to be trying to move your bed. Distress call? Well, here's the thing. Honestly, if I was going to try and capture a Bigfoot, I would use a Connex, like I said, but to put a stop to his brothers and sisters coming and rescuing him, I would put claymores all the way around it. And if they started coming in, claymore all over, buddy. I mean, I hate to say that, but it's either that or die because they're going to come in there and they're going to take you out if you trap one. So if you want to trap one, you got to be able to defend yourself when the other ones come around. I don't think I'm actually working on a non-lethal deterrent for Bigfoots. I'm trying to. I got a design. I just have to figure out how to have it done overseas in China and then do some testing and all that stuff. But I have to get the money for it. And since I had this got laid up in the hospital and everything, things on the financial front aren't too good. I was just about to do that. Now I got to put it on the back burner until I get things back together again. John, you talking to me or Ashton? You have to remember where they're. Yeah, I know that, Josh. I'm just saying. If you're going to capture one, you got to be able to defend yourself. And to me, the best way to defend right now is claymore mines. You put claymore mines around there, you're going to take. They ain't going to get to you. Claymore mines the only way you're going to guarantee a Bigfoot ain't getting you. I mean, you can try like Brennecke, high brass, and a 12 gauge, but you're going to have to be close when you hit them. And even then, you're going to have to hope you hit them in the right spot and drop them. Ashton, if a Bigfoot has been watching you through the window, and you would know it because usually they tap on the window, they try to get you to come to the window, Unless if you're really suspecting that you've seen, like there's been one, I would suspect it means you saw one out of the corner of your eye or something, but you didn't actually get a good look at it. If that's the case, yeah, probably. Well, he'll probably start tapping on the window if you close your curtains, and then he'll start slapping the side of your house. That's when they start getting more obnoxious. But if you haven't had one so far, you'd be all right. I would just move the bed away from the window, and so he can't just reach in and get you. Yeah, right. Yeah, because once you take away their eye candy or their food, they get mad. you know. But if you've been out in your yard, if they've been looking in on you, then they would have come around while you were outside too. So I suspect you're probably okay. Unless you've, like I said, seen one out of the corner of your eye and you're not sure. If you've not had any indication yet, then you're probably okay. I wouldn't worry about it. Just move your bed away from the window in case it does start. You're in a cabin in the mountains. Yeah, I would take precautions. Well, Ashton, you can't. If you don't know if you've even had one, I wouldn't worry about it. If you suspect that there has been one, if you genuinely suspect that, then it's a different story. But so far from what you've said, I don't think that you've had one looking in at you. But like I said, doesn't mean it won't start happening in a month or whatever, like this summer, this spring. You know, just depends if one happens to cruise by your house. Yeah, I'd like to have a cabin in the mountains too. Anyway, I'm gonna have to close this out and check Ashton's email if she really emailed me. I don't know. I'm not getting a notification that I've had an email. Oh, so you have what in your window you've seen movement? Ashton, I'm talking to Ashton. Family owned cabin. No, I'm asking you if you said you've seen movement and flashes and you thought it was deer. Uh Forgot what the heck I asked you a minute ago. Oh yeah, are you saying in the window specifically is what I'm asking you. All right, the flash of movement by the window. Could you tell how much of the window was obscured? You said you were on the first floor. How high above the ground on the outside of the wall is your window, and how much of the window did you got obscured when you saw that movement? If you get cats missing and there's no explanation for where they're disappearing to, that usually means you have an elderly Bigfoot because they can no longer hunt deer. They start killing cats and dogs. And then, because they're just easier to get. Ashton, don't put your email on here. You're going to have everybody who ever watches this video email. Well, no, actually, it's live chat. They wouldn't, but yeah, you should be careful about that stuff. So you didn't email me, huh? I'll put your email in my contacts then. Where is it? I think I lost it. I'm reading your comments. That's why I'm being so quiet. Yeah, if you're missing, well, no, I've heard, Josh. I've specifically heard of cats being taken by really feeble old Bigfoots. Ashton, how much of the window do you remember being covered? Was it like something went by the entire window, or you just saw something go by the bottom? I mean, you know what I'm getting at. If it covered the entire window, it wasn't a deer. Here. Oh, you got cougars up your way, Will? I remember when they said there were no cougars. When I was in school, I did a book report. There was a story. Oh, Ashton, you did email me. Oh, I have your email. I'll put you in my contact. All you said was hi. I thought you said you wanted to talk about something. Anyway, hold on a second. I got stuff highlighted for some reason. Yeah, Jamar, go ahead, email me, man. Ashton, when you saw it, are you saying that you were looking? I assume you can see me because I'm not seeing my video anymore, but I assume you can still see my video. Wait a minute. Do I have my video up or do I have that other thing up? Oh, hold on. Let me put myself back up so you can see what I'm doing because I'm using my hand gestures here. All right, Ashton, are you saying you were looking this way, right? And you saw it out of the extreme peripheral vision? You saw the movement and it made you turn and look? Or were you looking here and it was just a little bit off to the side? I'll explain why I'm asking you that when you answer the question. Yeah, I got your email, Ashton. They just started admitting they are here. Oh, the Cougars, yeah. Yeah, I was saying I did a book report once because I read this book that was about a black panther in the Florida Everglades, I think it was. It was in Florida. I think it was in the Everglades. And I did a book report on it. And in the book report, I talked about this panthers being in Florida. I got an F on it because my teacher said there are no panthers in Florida. And now they're everywhere down there. It turns out they were. They just hadn't recognized them yet. Well, my point is, if you were looking this way and you saw it out of your extreme peripheral vision, it had to be something of size. It was probably bigger than a deer. So you might have had a Bigfoot walk by. Was it your bedroom or was it like your living room or something? We got people coming and going on the show, but I'm not seeing that many people commenting. So find that interesting. In your bedroom, all females have good peripheral vision, but if it was something that got your attention like that, unless you were just staring at a blank wall for no reason, if you were probably looking at something for a reason, if it grabbed your attention like that, it was probably something bigger than a deer. I would suspect. I could be wrong. I'm just trying to help you figure it out. That's all. sounds to me like it might have been something bigger than a deer. Although in West Virginia, you might have good sized deer. In Ohio, they were little. They were like not much bigger than dogs, you know. But I've seen deer down in where my family in Virginia lives that are just massive, huge. So you probably have big deer. I guess it could have been a deer. So Ashton, are you afraid if I give you a Bigfoot assignment, would you be too afraid to go looking? Your bedroom blinds are always open. Uh-huh. Oh, I shouldn't have said that out loud. Now everyone who ever watches this video is going to be looking for your house. All right, Ashton, email me. I'm going to go ahead and close this because we've been on for a long time now, almost 2 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and close this episode out because not everyone's going to want to watch 2 hours of us just chatting. And any of you who have had, can you take a shotgun? Sure, you can take a shotgun. I'm more interested in what you might find. I don't care how you protect. I mean, I would say you're smart to protect yourself. I mean, I wouldn't say no to that. Yeah, take a shotgun, a 12 gauge with Brennecke high brass. They have a picture of a grizzly bear on them. Those I've looked into it. Those have the best possibility of taking down a Bigfoot if you had to shoot it in the chest or the face. You know, that's what I plan to have when I start going and looking. Anyway, those of you who might have had an encounter or know somebody who has had an encounter, go ahead and email me. We'll get you or them on the show, and we'll talk about your encounter. And until next time, I enjoyed our chat tonight, people. I hope that we can do it again next week. And until then, y'all take it easy.